Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the Daily Market Insight for Tuesday, the 9th of May. Now, as we come into the Asian session, we've got a nice sort of risk-off sentiment in play, right? The clocks or the settings for these instruments have just been reset after the 5 p.m. New York. So we are seeing the dollar just move a bit to the top side, euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi down, following the US equity futures to the downside, right? So that gives us a bit of a base. Commodities, well, they're sort of drifting a little bit lower, right? And I'll show you a few charts. There's some interesting setups, and there's a lot of talk around, the US, how hard it is to get a loan in the US at the moment, all the regional banks and these sorts of things. Not necessarily a credit crunch, but it's overshadowing the whole market, making it a little bit tricky to work out fundamentally what's happening. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at the charts, and then I'll come back to what's coming up today. So just on the big front, the dollar index just holding in there. Okay, it is trending lower, but I'd say with the US CPI figures coming out Wednesday, we may not see too much progress. The equity markets have climbed back into their range. Bitcoin just being a bit belted there on the downside. You've got oil, gold still moving to the top side. I like this trend line at the top here. I think if everything calms down, gold has to come back, and you've got some nice entry levels to get in. And you can see how nicely oil is trading technically, coming straight back to that trend line. Now, do I buy oil or not? I don't really know, to be sure, or to be honest, I should say. But it's one of those tricky ones. I don't have a feel for it just at the moment, so I'm not going to say, yeah, get short here or buy it. It's really down to keeping an eye on the data, especially the US CPI numbers. Now, currency-wise, here we are with the dollar. Still sort of a bit of pressure on the downside. Sterling's gone up. Aussie's moved to the top side. And Kiwi, bit of a short squeeze there on Aussie and Kiwi. Now, this is the dark horse. We've got to get euro moving, right? The euro really dominates, well, sterling to some extent, Aussie and Kiwi. You can see the dollar falling here, CAD rallying, which goes along the lines with the commodity currencies, Aussie and Kiwi. Dollar Swiss, well, we had this channel here, trend channel. Now it's broken out of that, but it's just drifting sideways in a bigger sort of extension of that trend channel, but pretty tricky to work out what's going on. Dollar yen, once again, you have to get those spikes up straight back down towards the trend line. And at this point, is there a safe haven in play? I don't think so, but you know what? It's just marking time like dollar yen does. So where we are on these instruments, well, it's a little bit neither here nor there, to be honest. We do have some things to look at now. You got some Japanese housing data. That's probably inconsequential. This Westpac consumer confidence number, it's a pretty new number, okay? But, it may come into play. Consumer confidence is a big thing these days. Get the retail sales final numbers. Okay, just have a look at those. But really, you've got a few speeches here. And what we're doing is we're really waiting for Wednesday's CPI number, right? If you're sort of thrashing around the market today, as I said, you could be looking at the equity markets for direction, but the real direction is going to come from Wednesday's US CPI numbers. It is the big number. You've got some ECB and Fed officials speaking here. Probably worth just keeping an eye open or an ear out for those components. But really, from here on in, all the text on all the news services will be around the inflation numbers. This is where we're going to see the main drivers right now. Inflation is coming back nicely, but it would be good to see, what the print is. It'll go a long way towards sorting out what the Fed is looking at. And hopefully that gives us a very clear plan for the rest of the week, right? So with this data, like on Wednesday, right, we've got, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to trade. So we get the answers here. Hopefully they're definitive. And then we can come back and apply those to the various instruments with good technical setups. And that's what it's all about. All right. So for the moment, if anything, keep an eye on the equity markets. Okay, as I said, a bit of a risk-off day, very clear, bit of a pullback in the commodities. And that's about all she wrote for today. Just be patient, relax. If you are trading, I'd probably reduce your trade size because today you're probably trading for fun as opposed to really building capital. right? The big opportunities are Wednesday onwards. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good one. Cheerio.